has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio here on the Voice of Liberty, excuse me, in wonderful Western New York. The number to call, 585-346-3000. You know, I was thinking about what's happening here in New York. The Democratic Party and how it runs this state, and why people keep looking to New York.
As the Hebrew name for America state suggests, right? We are a...
Why would we keep doing that when New York clearly has its own problems? It made me think, believe it or not, about Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War. What? Yeah. For those of you who know about the Civil War and what was happening there, the South had much better generals. The North didn't have the best generals. So Lincoln was stuck with who he had. And Lincoln found some generals that would actually work. Generals like Sherman and Hooker and Grant. And all these generals had problems. All these generals were not perfect. Some of them were super aggressive. And a lot of people passed because of their aggression. True. But when asked about this, and people did, they said, why do you keep giving Grant and Sherman? Why do you give these guys all this power? Why do you keep doing this? He said, because they're fighters. That's what Lincoln said. He's like, I got to have fighters. He says, so many of my generals are great, garrison generals. They're great trainers. They're great guys, to prep. But they're not good in the field because they don't want to fight. But these guys will fight. So he took them and he gave them lots of power. And they weren't great, but they were fighters. He was right with that. That was true. Grant, whether you liked him or not, Hooker, whether you liked him or not, Sherman, whether you liked him or not, these guys were fighters. That's true. And he used them. I look at Democrats today across the country, and even in New York, and the same thing is true. They're looking for fighters. Democrats are looking for fighters. And they don't have many. You look at someone like Chuck Schumer, that's the last thing he is. He whines and cries a lot. That's true. He whines and cries. That's true. But that's not a fighter. And the Democrats just got their butt kicked last year. So you would think if you're a Democrat, okay, I got my butt kicked. I got to fix this somehow. So I got to get out there and I got to find some people to do something. They don't have that many good generals. They don't. They're the Union in 1860. But they got a couple people who they think are fighters. And that's AOC. I know some of you are like, what? AOC? What? Whether you like her or not, whether you think her policies are good or not, spoiler alert, I don't. Doesn't matter. The reality is she is now out there at least pretending to fight. She's out there with Bernie, hooping and hollering, saying how we're going to stop the oligarchies and all those things. That's what she's saying. I mean, she's sold out, so she's kind of that too. But she's out there. Who else the Democrats are? You might go, wait a minute, Larry. My Democratic friends, or if you're a Democrat, you're going, wait a minute, Larry, we have a good Democrat. See, we do. It's this guy, Cory Booker. That's who it is. He went out and talked for 25 hours on the Senate floor. That's fighting. That's not fighting. That's not fighting. that's doing nothing of any value. And we've already forgotten it. In fact, the fact that I said it actually made you remember it. Because if I didn't say it, you'd already forgotten it. That's how bad that was. But no matter who you are, you probably heard about AOC running around doing stuff. All right, Larry, it can't be AOC, you're saying. It can't be AOC because Hakeem Jeffries is running the Congress. Well, wait a minute. Here to be clear of. I got Hakeem Jeffries running Congress and Chuck Schumer, running the House, and Chuck Schumer running the Senate. Both New Yorkers. I got AOC out there running around. A New Yorker. I got Kathy Hochul supposedly going down to D.C. and fighting Trump. New Yorker. I got Letitia James getting maybe indicted, maybe by the DOJ, at least being alleged mortgage fraud. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I didn't say she did it. Don't come after me. I'm just saying it's alleged. She's fighting. I guess so. New Yorker. What's Hakeem Jeffries doing? Nothing. You don't remember. Half you don't even know who he is. But he's doing nothing too. So you see how AOC looks better and better because you got to judge her by the other generals, right? You're judging her by the other generals, not by the other side. You can't judge, or you couldn't have judged fairly, which Union general do I pick based upon the Confederate generals who were way better. Well, if you're a Democrat, you have to judge your Democrats by your peer group Democrats. Who's winning? Tim Walz. Stop. Not a thing. What I have is a bunch of New Yorkers, which I guess I should be proud, I guess. I mean, I'm not, but maybe I should be. Okay, no, I shouldn't be. My point being, a bunch of New Yorkers who are trying to fight for the heart of the Democratic Party and then eventually the leadership of this country in 2026 and 2028. Who's going to control the Congress in 2026 and who's going to win the presidency in 2028? The Democrats now are trying to figure out which generals to use, which people to move forward on. Schumer is clearly inept. Jeffries is clearly inept. AOC is out there. But what about Kathy Hochul? Her Majesty, Queen Kathy, first of her name, destroyer of the economy, banisher of conservatives, worshiper of the jab. What will happen with her? You might go, well, she's done for. I got some news for you. She literally had a positive poll recently. Yes, I know some of you probably fell out of your chair. It's true. She just had one. She actually had like a 48% favorable rating or something like that. For her, that's a lot. That's like great. Like, oh my God. And it went up. When did it go up? Why did it go up? Because Attorney General James is now going down. Who else is left here in New York State? Who's a statewide candidate? Who's a popular, well-known, even if sometimes hated, candidate? It's her. The number two was James. Well, James is getting beat up right now. So now what are we going to do? Looking at Hochul again. I know you're saying to yourself, there's no way, Larry. They're looking at her too. Now, here's the reality. She can't take that mantle. She can't. Lack of charisma, lack of intellect. She can't do that. Now, can she hold on to New York? Sadly, yes. I don't want to hear that. I can't believe I'm saying that. Doesn't make it wrong. She still can. And with James out of the picture, who's gonna challenge her besides James? I mean, maybe James could have, but the DOJ just basically took her out. Now, whether she is guilty or not, I don't know. Whether they will charge her or not, I don't know. My gut tells me they will charge her. That is my gut, but I can't be sure. The reason why I say it is they could have, the DOJ could have, if it wanted to, immediately charged her, looked at what they sent and charged her. They didn't, which makes me think they're trying to put together an airtight case. And that's why James is scared, because she thinks the DOJ is going to put together an airtight case and then charge her. And she is going to have to make a deal and either step down or agree to not run again or whatever. But either way, her career is done. And now that it's done, who's left? The Kingslayer, Letitia James, the woman who took down Cuomo, the woman who took down Trump, who I shouldn't have took him down, but was sure that he got 34 felonies, convictions. The Kingslayer, that night, gone, knocked from her horse in the middle of battle. She's done for. Queen Kathy's by herself. Is AOC her friend? Is Cuomo her friend? Oh, yes, I just said Cuomo. You all thought Cuomo was gone. The Mad King. You thought he was gone. King Cuomo, second of his name, grabber of butts. Yes, that guy. He's coming back in New York City. Is he an ally of the Queen or not? If he is, that will help. But here's one thing to understand. Cuomo doesn't like AOC. He doesn't. And you might say, why? What do you mean? Cuomo has talked badly about her. He doesn't like the usurper. Because whether you like Cuomo or Hochul, either one, they are both nobility. They are both nobility. They're royalty. Who is this upstart AOC? This peasant. Usurper. Get her out of here. They are both part of the establishment. AOC is selling out too. But I think, here is my gut. AOC tried to sell out. She gave in to Nancy Pelosi's of the world, to the Hakeem Jeffries of the world. And they dissed her. They said, get out of here. We don't care. Yes, you should bow to us and be happy we don't get rid of you because we're just going to primary you. And they threatened her. That's not a joke. And she bent the knee and got nothing. Maybe she's on her way up. Is it AOC? Is it Hochul? Is it Cuomo? And why is it New York? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Shortwave Radio, the voice of liberty in Western New York. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was started by a veteran along with his son, Zach. Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran. I want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Most banks offer you a choice. Or maybe it would be better to say they demand a choice. Technology so you can bank like you want to, or relationships so you can get advice when you need it. But when you choose to bank with Tompkins, you can have it all. Powerful technology and the power of a face-to-face talk about your future. Because both are part of the best banking relationship you'll ever have. Tompkins, your bank of choice. Open an account today at tompkinsbank.com.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Sharpeway Radio on the WYSL stations.
Tends to be a little more conservative in upstate New York, and I think they don't know me as well.
I have a feeling they actually know you very well. Some of them know you intimately. You made sure of that. Yes. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty here in Western New York. 585-346-3000 is the number. Talking about New York State and why are we the center of the Democratic Party? But we are, right? The thing that people don't recognize is New York State runs the Democratic Party, not California. New York State does. The people who are up front fighting Trump, our AG James, our Governor Hochul, the people who run the Senate, Chuck Schumer runs the House, Hakeem Jeffries, out there running around doing everything, AOC. These are all New Yorkers. We, for good or for bad, we are running the Democratic Party right now. And the Democratic Party is failing. So if the Democratic Party is going to be revived, if it is, and I don't know if it is, but if it is, it will come out of New York. This is why I think AOC is going to be part of the rebellion. And I told you this a couple months ago when they first started talking about how bad Schumer was. Remember when he was failing miserably? Trump was throwing everything out there like there's no tomorrow. He was flooding his own, totally was. And Hakeem Jeffries says, I don't know, what are we going to do? And Chuck Schumer's like, we're going to be something. And no one cared. And then AOC said, all right, guys, I bent the knee last year. I sold out last year. I told people to back Biden last year. I knew we shouldn't, but I sold out. I voted with Nancy Pelosi's last 2 years. I have made every actual left-leaning Democrat in New York be mad at me because I sold out. Where's my cut? Where's my reward? Where's my loyalty badge, right? How do I get my cut? And they went, oh, wait, peasant, you're lucky we don't primary you. Now, to give her credit, her doing this thing with Bernie makes her raise millions of dollars. I think she raised $7 million last couple of months, something like that. Yes, she's been savvy. Again, whether you like AOC or not, I'm not discussing liking. I'm discussing what's actually happening. She's raised millions of dollars. And you might go, liar, why do I care? The reason is now she becomes to a point where she is unprimariable. I just made that word up. I like that word. I'm going to use it. Yes. And she's been in the neighborhood, by the way. She's my congressperson. I've seen her in the neighborhood. She's been in the neighborhood. So she's walking in the neighborhood and raising $7 million. This is her building her defenses against a possible Democratic siege. Smart move on her part. Whether it's her or her team, I don't know, but well done. She has now raised money. She's solidifying her defenses. She can now mount a civil war. Cuomo knows that. Cuomo's one of the savviest guys out there. Hochul didn't see that coming. Neither did James. Cuomo saw that a mile away. That's why he came to New York. That's why he's solidifying his forces here. And that's why he's anti-AOC. He don't want her around. That gets in his way. This is where you will see the actual fight for the Democratic Party. I think in AOC's heart, that's what I think, she's actually a real leftist. I think she is. I think she's played the establishment game because she thought it would get her ahead. I think she believed if she got ahead and she could bend the knee, then she could make changes. That's what I think she believed. She then realized, oh, that's not going to work. But Larry, Cuomo's a real lefty. No, he isn't. Cuomo's a Cuomoist. He would be anything to be in charge. He'd be a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green. I don't care. Independent. He would be whatever it takes to get power. You know who else is that way? Person named Kathy Hochul. Yes, the royalty is the same. Kathy Hochul will be a Republican tomorrow. Independent, Libertarian, Green. Doesn't matter. If she can keep her power, she wouldn't care. She'd change it like that. So would Cuomo. If you remember when Cuomo was governor, he didn't get along with de Blasio, the old, terrible mayor of New York. Why? because de Blasio was a true believer, just like AOC. De Blasio was a real leftist. Cuomo didn't like that. He wants you to not care about your left-right politics. This is about power, my friend. I don't care if you're lefty, righty, conservatism. Who cares? What's going to get you in power? De Blasio was a true believer. Cuomo and Adams actually got along because Adams also is a whatever. How do we know? Cuomo's independent now. He used to be a Republican. Adams doesn't care either. He's about getting airplane tickets from the Turks, whatever that takes to get those. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about Democrat, Republican. How do I get mine? How do I grift effectively? I want to be that. AOC is actually not that. This was de Blasio. This is actually going to be a fight for the Democratic Party. Will the establishment win? Now, it's going to sound weird when I say this, but hear me. It is possible that AOC is the Trump of the Democratic Party. I know some of you just fell out of your chair. I know. But it's the Democratic Party. It's possible. Trump basically mounted a coup. Against establishment Republicans. Now, did he totally win? Yes and no. He won, but he still has to deal with them. He did not destroy them. It was not a decisive victory against the establishment. He's still with the establishment. And to be forward, he's also much more of a transactional guy anyway. He's not really an ideologue. So he's kind of okay with it as long as he gets his way. He'll give in to them as long as he gets his way. He doesn't care. He wants his way. AOC is an ideologue. If she takes over the Democratic Party, her wing does, it's going to be a very left Democratic Party. And if that party wins in 2026 and 2028, there's going to be some changes in America, reverses in America. And all of it comes from New York. Now, one more thing. Where's Trump from? Oh, yes. New York. Absolutely. New York. This is our fault. We've got to fix this, guys. This is our fault. Good or bad. All these changes, they're all coming from New York. And you might say to yourself, well, Larry, I'm listening to your show online, or I'm listening to your show on YouTube or something. I don't live in New York. Why should I care about New York? I've just told you. This is why. What happens in New York comes to you. That's how it works. You got to help me fight here in New York. Someone's got to be in the front line. That's all I'm saying. Let me grab a couple comments if I could. Sarah says, Larry is the future of New York. We can only hope. I do hope so. Yes. Mike Voss in the house. He says AOC isn't the future, but I hope the Dems push her to governor rather than senator. She would lose governor. I agree with you, Mike. I think you're right. I don't think AOC can win governor because she probably can't win the primary. I don't think she could. She's not as popular across the state in that regard. And the amount of people who will fight her, Kathy Hochul, incumbent, yeah. And while Kathy Hochul is not popular across the state, she's still popular among Democrats. The difference is Schumer is not seen as popular among Democrats. Now you might say, well, is Kathy Hochul really popular among Democrats? Enough, right? She's not like super popular, but she's enough. And she is seen as fighting Trump also. I mean, she's not doing anything, but you know, Mike, it's all about how it looks. And it looks like Hochul is fighting Trump. She's yelling, screaming, saying things, going down there, wants to get her congestion pricing. So yeah, I think she's a better chance of beating AOC. But Schumer is looked upon as weak. People see him as ineffective. She's got a shot against Schumer. I think you're right. I think she could win as a senator. It's possible. I don't think she can win as governor. I agree. But do we want her as that? Which is worse? Which is better? Mike, I'm not sure. You guys can tell me if you want to. 585-346-3000 is the number. Larry Sharpe, here on Sharpe Way Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and, of course, more of your chat. I see you after the break.
God bless America.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester. WLEA WCKR FM Parnell.
FM Talk.
Canisteo Valley Update.
Last night, the Steuben County IDA had a meeting about the proposed Canisteo Wind Project. The meeting was at Hornell City Hall. Mayor John Buckley says Hornell's part of the Canisteo Wind Project will be transmission lines going from the ZY Tower Road to East Avenue Extension to Route 36 at the substation. Hornell Alderman Kevin Valentine asked, will Hornell have to put any money into this wind project? Mayor Buckley says no. Alderman Jim Bassage asked, what's in it for Hornell? $5,700, Mayor Buckley said, for the first year, and it tops out in year 20 at $11,000 a year. Alderman David Sutphin asked, can the project work without subsidies? Johnson says he cannot comment on other government subsidies, but says the county subsidies will be in the form of payment in lieu of taxes. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mainly clear, a little chill in the air. We'll dip down into the 30s to near 40. On Wednesday, should be a nice day, sunnier overall. Temperatures will be up near 60, a little cooler near Lake Ontario. Noticeably warmer with a mix of sun and clouds on Thursday. Should be in the low 70s. Could be a couple of showers near 70 on Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia for the Voice of Liberty.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Get out of debt now. There are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. In 2025, resolve to get rid of your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. For almost 20 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. To celebrate 2025, you can start for as little as $99 regardless of how much debt you owe. Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. End the endless cycle of payments now. Take a stand. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially cut your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now for a free consultation at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
Let's face it, sometimes local is just better. Locally grown, locally sourced. Shop local. At Allstate, Agent Vincenzo Scolo is just that, a local. Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Call Allstate agent Vincenzo Scolo, 381-3530, and see how much you can save. 2 locations, 835 Fairport Road in East Rochester and 919 Winton Road South in Rochester.
Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Looking for something meaningful to do? As a Camp Good Days volunteer, you'll work with children and adults who will inspire you. Just listen to what one volunteer says about her experience.
It is the most fun that I have every year. I look forward to it all year. It just takes you out of all the things that you worry about day-to-day life and kind of gives you a great perspective check. And the kids, they are my heroes. They inspire me every day. They're amazing.
Learn more about many volunteer opportunities at Camp Good Days and Special Times on the web at campgooddays.org.
An experienced professional with more than 20 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
Looking for a way to make your shopping really count? The Stars and Stripes Flag Store transforms every purchase into direct support for local veterans through the Veterans Outreach Center. Browse our selection of flags, apparel, locally crafted merchandise, from laser-engraved mugs to handcrafted wooden plaques and more. This is shopping that strengthens our community. This is shopping that changes lives. Visit us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 783 South Avenue in Rochester or online at www.eflagstore.com.
When you think chicken, think Stearns Poultry Farm Stores. Stearns Poultry Farm stores with 2 locations, Seneca Street, Hornell, and Route 244 in Alfred Station. Stearns, the best chicken in these parts.
WYSL.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. It is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty in Western New York. 585-346-3000 is the number. And boy, have we been talking about New York and AOC and Hochul and all the New Yorkers who just keep running things into the ground. But they're running them. That's for sure. I do think AOC has a future. I do. I'm not sure where it is, but she absolutely does have one. So behind the furnace teasing, he says, fight, 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 Chuck Schumer. Well, look, I'll go back to the fighting piece, right? People love a fighter. Even if they're ineffective or not, doesn't matter. People want to feel like you're fighting for them, right? They really want to believe. What is the reason why someone like a Javier Milei, who chopped things to pieces in Argentina, why would they support him? Why do they keep supporting him? Why are they still supporting him? Why did they support him through the pain? Because they believed that he was fighting for them. And I think you can see he was. That wasn't something he was making up. He was. You have seen improvements. He's been fighting for his people, and people got behind him. When did so many people say the election was over last year? It's that the Trump got shot. And he gets up and yells, fight, fight, fight. Everybody's like, done. Ball game over. That's it. People want a fighter. That's true. They don't have to win, right? People want it. I think it matters. John says, you think Hochul's approval ratings are padded? No matter who I talk to, they can't stand her. And yet she manages to be stagnant in approval ratings despite her obvious flaws and mismanagement. Here's the issue, John. Who are you comparing her to? And that's the issue. More than once, people have come to me and said, Larry, why do you love Trump? I don't love Trump. I never have. You've never heard me say that. Well, then, Larry, why have you not been so angry about all the things he's doing? Because I have to compare him to the rest. Look, I'm a libertarian. I still want Gary Johnson to be president. I'm never getting that. That's a fantasy. I might as well want Mickey Mouse to be president. Same thing. That's what I want. I'm not going to get what I want. And I've recognized that. So I get sometimes a hammer that I would rather not have a hammer from Trump, but I get change. I get RFK Jr. I get change. I get Tulsi Gabbard. I get change. None of these are perfect. None of these are what I would do if it was me. None of them are. If you've listened to me at all, you know I would do things differently. But I got to look at what I'm comparing it to. The alternative was Harris, status quo, no change, constant slow decay, guaranteed. Guaranteed slow decay. With Trump, I got a shot. Not the way I would do it, but I got a shot. Okay. Well, now think about Democrats here, John, in New York. What's their alternative? Who's running against Hochul? Who's the one who can make things better? You can't even name somebody. You might go, well, Larry, they could vote Republican. They've been told for 30 years Republicans are evil and bad. They're still told today, orange man bad, Trump's evil. They're still told today. Did you see that thing that Larry David did about Bill Maher seeing Trump? Bill Maher went and saw Trump, and he literally compared Trump in words to Adolf, the man, the Austrian who took over Germany in 1930s. I'm on YouTube, so I don't want to get canceled for saying his name. But the H-man compared him literally to him in writing. You can't vote for that guy, right? Democrats have told me how evil he is. I can't do that. This is our problem. They're comparing her to whatever else is out there. This is my point about AOC. As flawed as she is, who else is there? So yeah. Are they padded? I don't think so. I mean, she doesn't get over 50% ever, and she isn't. But she doesn't require that. She requires enough people to be afraid of Republicans to either stay home or vote for her. That's all she requires. That's what she gets. Mike Voss goes on to say, it's terrifying that the Dems are down to AOC for leadership, a woman that thinks MMT is real and that a train to Hawaii can be built. I'd rather her believe in the train than MMT, Mike. But yes, you're correct on both cases. You are correct in both cases. But again, I keep saying it. What are you comparing it to? Where's the other person that's coming out to save the Democrats? Where's that person? I don't see it. Phil got jokes today. He says some are royal, others are royal pains. And some are both, Phil. And some are both. Absolutely. Nathan says, Sharpe 2026. Thank you, Nathan. Maybe I'll make something happen in 2026. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Jackson says, I can't wait to move out of New York. I feel you, Jackson. He goes on to say, Larry, why haven't you moved out of New York yet? I've been ready to leave for years. 100 weeks left, and I can finally leave. I got to tell you, Jackson, I get your feeling. I do. I have felt it more than once. I've thought about it more than once. Just packing up and leaving. I have. I thought about it in 2017, actually, before I ran for governor the first time. I was going to move to North Carolina. Then I started thinking about moving to Chattanooga. Chattanooga is right in between two hubs. Tennessee has no state income tax. Recently, I've been thinking about moving to New Hampshire. Also, right outside of Boston. I'm an hour and a half from a major hub if I want to go to a city for some reason. I'm a city boy. So I want to be at least close to a city I can get to. Add no state income tax. Very good Second Amendment laws. I've been thinking about that too. But I just keep getting angry. I think it's my anger that keeps me. Because I don't want to leave the state that I love, the people that I love, my family, my business. I'm born here. I've crossed this state more times than anyone else I know. I really don't want to leave. I think anger keeps me. At one point, I'll either make some change or I'll stop being angry and I'll leave, maybe. But you are not uncommon, my friend. We lose 300,000 New Yorkers every single year. They are bailing like there's no tomorrow. So horribly devastating for us. And so many people I know exactly when they're planning to leave. You have it too, 100 weeks, which tells you that probably one of three things are happening. One, you have an elderly parent who's decided to leave or maybe is in a bad spot now and maybe leaving us permanently. You have children who are going to graduate soon, or you are about to retire or get your 20 years or get your pension. Those are the three reasons why people leave New York and why they wait. You're probably there. So yes. Nathan says to Jackson, Larry's fighting to save New York. I am trying. I am absolutely trying. Yes. So anyway, Mitsunagi says AOC has to have real socialist policies and not a campaign on joy and vibes. I actually agree with you. I think that Democrats can move people in New York State if they actually have policies, and across the country if they actually have policies, even if they're left-leaning. Again, I'm not saying I would agree with them, but I'm with you. If you want people to believe, if you want people to think there's going to be change, you got to give them some idea. You have to. And I think you're right. If AOC comes out with her Medicare for all or taxing the rich and here's how you're going to tax them or whatever's her thing, right? She has real socialist policies. Americans may go. A lot of Americans went to Trump who didn't like Trump. I know lots of people who voted for him and do not like him. But they said, he's got some ideas. Maybe this tariff thing will work. I'm not joking. They thought maybe it'll work. I don't know. The average American doesn't study tariffs. The average American doesn't study the specifics of policies. They got their own life going on. They got stuff going on. They can't do that. So they trust people who say they have plans. Well, what was Harris's plan last year? I don't know, freedom and joy or something? I forgot. Beyonce must have said it once or twice. Maybe Oprah said it. It was like you said, joy and vibes. That's what Harris was last year. And when asked, what are you going to change from Biden? She was like, nothing. So no answer. Well, Trump had answers. Whether you understood them or not, or believed in them, or agreed with them, he had answers. And again, whether you like it or not, he's doing it. I'm going to give Trump that. Trump said, I'm doing X. He's doing X. I wish more people would do what they say. Again, we'll see what the outcome is. I hope it's a great outcome. But whatever it is, he's doing it. I see it. If AOC actually runs on policies, she's got a shot. If she keeps this joy and vibes thing, she's going to get a whole lot of TikTok followers, make some cash, and she's done for. I'm with you. I agree. I completely agree. That Liberty Lady says, definitely what happens in New York will come to a state near you, and it will just take longer in states like Texas and Florida. True. Absolutely. You do see the power hungry try their stuff in New York, and they try in California too, but more in New York. And if it doesn't work, it didn't work. We couldn't get away with that one. But when they get away with it, they go, see, got away with it. Come on, Jersey, try. Come on, Connecticut, try. And then Connecticut and Jersey do it. Worked. Okay, Pennsylvania, you try now. Okay, Vermont, you try it now. And before you know it, it's like a disease. You're totally correct. Patty says, AOC seems to be the only hope my Bernie people see. I agree with you, Patty, right? This is the glory of what AOC has done. And if you remember, I mentioned it a couple months ago, what she should be doing, and she's actually doing it. I don't know if people watch my show or not. Maybe, I don't know. I hope they do. I want to feel like they do. So I'm going to say they do, even though I have literally no evidence that they do. I'm just going to say it anyway, because it makes me feel good. So they watch my show. So if she does well, it's my fault. Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But you are correct. Hope is the key, Patty. And if people have hope, they may change. Am I giving you hope? I hope I am. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on the Voice of Liberty in Western New York. Sharpe Way Radio. Back with your calls and more of your chat. I see you guys after the break.
Donald Trump and conservatives may have won, but you know the left will unceasingly try to undermine society and spread evil, targeting the innocent and God-fearing, especially our children. Help promote a truth-based society and try something different in 2025. The WYSL stations can grow your business, professional practice, or organization, so allocate your ad dollars here. Reach our huge audience, entertained, inspired, and informed by leading conservative thought. Affordable, effective. The WYSL stations, the voice of liberty. Call 585-346-3000 to advertise.
I'm Greece Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Joe Robach. If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber. We are the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we are better together, and together we can move your business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today. You'll be glad you did.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop.
We've got Roger.
Firearms and repairs.
And I'm going to come back with a soundbite from the movie Brewster's Millions. You know which one?
East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
I'm here to talk to you about none of the above. You know how it is around election time and you decide not to vote because the two candidates are so repulsive. Write in none of the above on your ballot. Don't vote for any of us.
That is funny. That is from Brewster's Millions. That is that was the one and only Richard Pryor up to his passing. And the movie was late 80s, I think. I think late 80s is when that movie came out. And back then, he was talking about none of the above, left and right being terrible. What have we learned in the past 40 years? Let me see. Oh, nothing. We've learned nothing. None of the above. He was right then. He's right now. The two parties are not helping us. This back and forth battling is not helping at all. It's a big challenge for us all. So I do appreciate that. I do want to keep going, if I could, for Patty real fast. She goes on. I do want to grab where she goes on to say, she says, I've told you before, you are the only one I see trying to get the two sides talking right now. It's all us versus them by everyone else. I agree. I think you're right, Patty. Most people just want to fight left versus right. I'm trying to fix my state. I don't know. We'll see. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
I can.
So first, we don't need hope. We need more self-empowerment through direct democracy with citizen ballot initiative amendments, worker cooperatives, and public banks. Two, as a former Democrat, I think I'm most qualified to speak about this since most of your audience is on the right. Now, you talked about Chuck Schumer before. I think you said he was crying or something like that. You just reminded me of when, in his first term, Trump was calling him fake tears Chuck because he was crying something about immigrants that he really don't care about, but make believe he does. So, you know, like, no matter what anybody says, whether you like him or don't like him, you got to admit Trump's kind of funny. You know?
He is. Agreed. He's got
hilarious.
stage presence. It's true.
You know what I mean? Now, regarding Hakeem Jeffries, my late cousin knew him personally because he was good friends. He was good friends with his uncle, Professor Leonard Jeffries. So he's a complete sellout. He just threw his uncle and the community under the bus for the Israel lobby and for corporate money, and how he did Charles Barron for that congressional seat. So we're not rocking with these guys. We who supported AOC when no one knew who she was are not only done with her, but we're done with the Democrat Party for the past 5 years. Now, you say the Democrat Party are looking for fighters. There is a saying, you never miss your water till your well runs dry. You had fighters before, but because those fighters were coming after you, the establishment, you tried to control them and get them out. They made Bernie
I agree
and
with
AOC.
you, and I think the world saw that, also the country saw that back in 2016 when the way they got rid of Bernie in 2016. And again, Bernie just sold out instead of continuing fighting. And I think he hurt a lot of people with that.
So they made Bernie and AOC bend the knee and compromise their morals, what stance. They got rid of Marie Newman first, then they got rid of Bowman and Cori Bush second, even though
I remember
we saw them as sellouts also. Now, they also did the same thing with JB's new congressman, Maxwell Frost, who sold out after he won. Matter of fact, me and Blue Moon Lucy confronted Jamal Bowman. He tried to jump fly with me like he wanted to fight me or something.
Wow.
Yeah. We still got that video telling me how I got to respect him when I approached him and show some love. He was like, "Wow, you got this woman here filming me. You better show some respect." You know what I mean? So
wow.
But this was an event that Jose and Kynan had protested them at, where Chuck was there also. Same place. Someplace in Astoria, not too far from LaGuardia, but me and Blue Moon got there after they left. We saw Bowman, so we targeted him. Now, lastly, Stefanik and Hochul. Larry, you better run because I don't want either of these clowns. The second lastly thing, Hochul fighting Trump with these tolls, with the the business district in Manhattan. The only way that she can get ahead of this is the complete elimination of easy passes, Metro cards, and Long Island Railroad tickets for intrastate. Not really, I don't expect it to be going for interstate, but intrastate travel. Because you're fighting, the president is like, "Nah, I don't want you to pay any tolls." No, we're gonna make them pay tolls.
It's a good point.
You're on a losing end.
Let me cover a couple of those. You gave me a lot. Let me cover a couple of these. All right. I agree with you on the idea that there's a lot of Democrats who are mad with Hochul. what I think, Roger, to be forward with you is at the end of the day, and we saw it with Harris, at least half of those people who are against the Democratic Party will fall back in line because they hate Republicans. You know I'm right with that, right?
They're scared of the Republicans.
Yes, at least half will. And they know it. Democrats know that. That's why they keep pushing out anyone who wants to change the establishment, because they know at least half the Democratic base will just go, fine, I'll vote for Hillary. Fine, I'll vote for Harris. They'll just do it because fine, I'll vote for Biden. They'll do it. And the second piece is, in places like New York, there are so many Republicans who've just given up. They're like, I can't change anything. I'm going to leave, like the other gentleman just said. He's going to leave in a couple of years. He doesn't care anymore, right? Jackson said. I think a lot of people are thinking that. So I'm with what you're saying. My worry is we still have to have hope, because if we don't have hope, then no one tries to get that control that you want. No one decides to take, responsibility for their life, because why bother? It's not going to work. I'm just going to pack up and leave. I think that's the issue. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. Let me grab a couple more comments if I could. All righty. Someone put out there, thank you for that. Ron put out there, Bruce's Maine was 1985. I thought it was late 80s. So it was mid 80s instead. So yes. Patty agrees. She says, caller and I are on the same page. Yes. I think a lot of people are. Dina says, hi, Larry. You always give me hope. I'm trying. That's kind of my thing, right? It's trying to give people hope. John says, Stefanik will never run for governor. I think you could be off on that one, John. I think she might. She's got a shot. And she's also going to be endorsed directly by Trump. That means if she runs, she will, no matter what, win the nomination. Now, will she win the governorship? That's a different story. But can she win a primary? 100% yes. 100% yes. Absolutely. Mitch Nagy says, real talk. Could have changed it to Republican Hillary and Democrat Donald Trump, and nobody would have known the difference. That's actually funny. Roger, people are messing with you now. Sarah says, when is Roger going to run? Good question. Maybe he should. Maybe he should be running. Yes. Mastermind Hour says, Roger is a beast. Roger, you got some fans today. Look at you go. You definitely got some fans today. I'm happy to hear that. Yes. So I hope I say it right. Philus. I'm just going to say Philus. I wonder if we could possibly see AOC run for governor against Cuomo if he gets in the ballot. I've been out of the know for a bit, but I'm not sure where we're at with Cuomo, given the DOJ may file charges. Okay, the DOJ will not file charges against Cuomo. He's done. That's no longer an issue. Cuomo is actually running for mayor. AOC is not running for mayor. She might run for governor, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be senator. I hope I answered all those questions. Guys, I really am glad that for some of you, I'm giving you some hope. I hope I give you some inside baseball. I hope I give you interesting commentary that isn't just blatantly left and right. And I hope I do give you guys some hope. I appreciate you giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.